A nice dry day today throughout the state of South Carolina. And not only that, but it was a little bit warm today as well. It was a little bit warm today. Now, for the most part, these types of days right here will continue. We're talking about more dry days, more warming up to do as we go into the middle parts of the week. But as we get more towards the middle part of the week, we obviously will start to see that rain chance start to go up with that cold front moving through, and obviously we're going to see those temperatures start to drop as well. So what's on tap? Well, obviously we're talking about that warming trend, like I just said, cold front, drier, cooler weather. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. It's free. It is free. Let's go on and talk about what's currently going on. Well, right now we are talking about nice dry conditions throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Again, that is nice dry condition right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina right now. And if we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do see some rainfall, and that's the majority of what it is right now. We're seeing rainfall, Pennsylvania, Virginia, also some rainfall with some severe weather going on in Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, as well as Michigan. We have some rainfall over here inside of Michigan as well. In Illinois, we have some more severe thunderstorms going on right now. And if we go in and look and see how much rainfall we have from Iowa to Nebraska to Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, California, I mean, just rainfall all throughout over here in the west. But down here in the southeast, except for Florida, we're nice and dry right now. Now, what about for our cloud cover? We do have some cloud cover right now going on inside the upstate, Midlands, Low Country, PD, Grand Strand areas. So we are looking pretty good right now in terms of cloud cover for the most part. But if we go and look at this cloud cover for the future, obviously as we get more and more into tonight, cloud cover will be moving towards the east. But watch as we go into tomorrow afternoon, going into tomorrow evening, some more cloud cover tries to build. Even as we go into Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, cloud cover is around, and it's definitely going to be mostly cloudy. Current temperatures right now, we are talking about 60s. 60s for sure. 63 Somerville, 66 Beaufort, 65 Charleston, 63 Georgetown, as well as Conway, 66 Myrtle Beach, Myrtle's Inlet, 67 in Florence, Hartsville, 63 Lancaster, 64 in Union, Lawrence, Greenwood, and Greenville, as well as Spartanburg. Air quality, for the most part, we're looking pretty good. We have some moderates over there. PD areas going on inside of the Grand Strand, maybe a little bit inside of the upstate. But it's definitely not looking too bad for the majority of us. The majority of us are looking like we are inside the good and green and go category. So if you're in the yellow, just make sure that you're aware. Just make sure that you're aware of what's going on and making sure that you're keeping an eye on it. Now, if we go in and look at our low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about 50s. 51 Greenville, Spartanburg, as well as 54 in Columbia, 52 Rock Hill, as well as 53 in Florence, 53 Moncks Corner, 64 Charleston, and 56 in Georgetown, 62 Hilton Head Island, and 60 in Myrtle Beach. High temperatures for tomorrow, 80s. 81 Lawrence, Greenville, Spartanburg, 82 Anderson, 85 Columbia, 83 Orangeburg, 80 Kingstree, 77 in Georgetown, and 75 in Myrtle Beach, 74 in Charleston. Now, if we look at our rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours, no rainfall is expected. We are looking nice and dry. For the SPC outlook, thunderstorms are not expected for today, tomorrow, but Wednesday. Wednesday comes along and we have a bit of a chance with that cold front moving through with the chance for some thunderstorms on Wednesday, May the 6th. So if you're in the upstate, parts of the Midlands, maybe a little bit of the PD area, just make sure that you're aware, make sure that you're paying attention for this risk of thunderstorm activity. Fire weather is not expected at this time. Excessive rainfall, same thing. Wednesday going into Thursday, isolated flash flooding is possible up here in the very far upstate Salem, Walhalla, Long Creek, the Sumter National Forest. All of these areas need to be watching out for some isolated flash flooding as we go into Wednesday. Now for the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at an 8. Very tranquil, very mild, under the high pressure, mostly clear, partly cloudy skies going on. Completely dry though, as there is no chance of rainfall. Lows are going to be not too bad, and winds are calm. Now let's go in and check out the models because honestly, I mean, crazy score wise, we're not seeing anything too bad. Short term wise, we're not seeing anything too bad. So let's go in and look at the models. We're going to start off here at around 9 o'clock p.m. And just as we go in and push this forward all the way through into tonight, going into tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, we are just staying nice and dry, going all the way into tomorrow evening. Now, as we move all the way into Wednesday morning, here around 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, even all the way to 6 o'clock in the morning, we still aren't seeing any rainfall. But watch as we move into Wednesday, like around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Then that's when we finally start to see that rainfall with some thunderstorm activity potentially try to impact us inside the state. We go through 1 p.m. all the way to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and it kind of does fizzle out as you get more into like the afternoon on Wednesday, but showers and storms are definitely possible as we go into Wednesday morning in the upstate. And there still will be this second round that you can see right on after it. We'll see how that develops, especially as we go into tomorrow evening. But for right now, short term, looking mostly dry until we get to Wednesday morning. Now, in terms of our long term future, we go in and push this forward. Obviously, we're talking about beneficial rainfall as we go into Wednesday, going into Thursday. We're talking about a good amount of rainfall that tries to move its way over into the east. But then by the time we get to around Friday, going into Saturday, we kind of get a little bit of some dry air trying to move through after the cold front. Thursday, Friday comes along, and it looks pretty good, looking like that we have a day kind of just out of the rainfall. But then watch as we get into the weekend. We're talking about some more rainfall activity trying to move its way over into the east, over into the state. And so it does look like that we will continue to kind of just see it kind of rotate, kind of pivot a little bit. You see how it kind of goes throughout the southern parts, then kind of pivots over towards the eastern parts. So that goes all the way through to Saturday, going into Sunday, and even as we go into Monday as well of next week, we are still talking about rainfall activity throughout the entire state. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week definitely looks a lot drier. So it looks like this week right here, going into this weekend, maybe even early next week, it looks like that we are going to be definitely very active. But watch as we get into next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday. At least the early parts of Saturday, could potentially be dry. And then those active conditions will easily try to return as we get more into the later portions of May. And so that's all that I have to say here in terms of our long-term future rainfall-wise. In terms of how much in terms of the totals. If we go to the QPF, I'm going to move on over into the ensembles. We're going to look at the GEFS first. The GEFS kind of has us at more of around 2 to 3 inches statewide as we go throughout the next 300 to 400 hours or so, all the way through to Wednesday, May the 20th. So, good amount. Will it be enough to completely get rid of this humongous drought that we have? Absolutely not. This drought will continue to remain, and it will continue to just cause those problems. But we are seeing more and more rainfall, which is great. We want to see the rainfall. And if we go on and look at the European model, we go to the total QPF, and then we move all the way over into the 12Z to 360 hours out, all the way into Tuesday, May the 19th. We're talking about maybe around an inch and probably up to around 2 inches or so. So the European model is definitely the more lesser type. Not really seeing too much of 2, 3, 4 inches like the GEFS is seeing. So we want the GEFS for sure to verify. And if we go on and look at the deterministic models, which is just the regular GFS, this one doesn't show too much either. I mean, maybe around 1 to 2, but more on par with the Euro. But again, this is just one model run. This is not, anything we should really even be looking at that much, just because it's not an ensemble. So temperature-wise, it looks like it's going to be a bit more on the cooler side as we started off this week. But watch as we get more into Tuesday, going into Wednesday. We see a little bit of a warm resurgence, but don't worry, it won't last long. As we get into Thursday, going into Friday, look at all this cool air that we have moving over into the south and east. And then now South Carolina is getting taken over by some cooler air by the time we get to Friday, by the time we get into Saturday. Now that will go on through into Sunday, going into Monday. And we even have some more cooler air that tries to move through with another cold front potentially trying to move through as we go into next week. So cold front after cold front after cold front, that is still the main thing that we are still keeping an eye on in terms of our pattern. Now, in terms of warm air, in terms of, that will be coming back as we go more and more into the end parts of next week. So warmer air will be coming back, but not before we get another cold blast or two that tries to move through. Watch even as you go into next weekend. I mean, this is May the 16th right here, and we are seeing nice conditions, pretty much up to 15 to 20 degrees above average. Again, around 15 to 20 degrees above average. That would be nice to see if we somehow do see this as we go into Saturday. Even as we go into Sunday, I mean, you do see a little bit of some more cooler air trying to move through. A bit more. But it's definitely not. But it's definitely still too far out. Definitely way too far out. Like 300, 400 hours out or so. Now, if we even go on and look at the actual temperatures themselves, because I know that, the anomalies are one thing. But it's definitely still something if these temperatures are on par, because when you take a look at, for example, above average in January compared to above average in April, above average in May, those are significantly different. So yeah, we can look at anomalies all day, but you still won't know exactly what it's looking like unless you know exactly what time of year it is and what the averages are for the year. But watch as you go more into Tuesday going into Wednesday. Obviously, those high temperatures, they're going to be up into the 80s. They're going to try to get up to the 90s. But watch as you get into Thursday going into Friday. That cold front will move through. And by the time you go through into the weekend, yeah, you may see some 70s coming around here, but it's not 80s, it's not 90s like we would regularly see as we go towards the end of the week. Watch as we go into the weekend. Going into Saturday, Sunday, 80s try to return. 80s definitely try to return. But watch as we get more into Monday, going into Tuesday of next week. Look at these high temperatures only reaching up into the 50s and 60s, maybe some 70s still, again, here and there. I mean, we're getting to the point now to where we may still see some 70s, even if a cold front does move through, just because we are getting into this time of the year now to where temperatures are really starting to ramp up. Now, if you go all the way through to Thursday, going into Friday, we do see some more rain. We do see some more temperatures starting to rise up into the 80s and 90s again as we go more towards the middle part of the month. But all of this really is, again, 200 to 300 hours out, so take this all with a grain of salt. One thing we can look at, though, to check for sure is the ensembles, because the ensembles show us what's happening with the temperatures. Are they rising? Are the average temperatures decreasing? What's going on? And so we definitely see some 80s. I mean, you even see some mid 80s as we go into Thursday, May the 14th, going into the 16th. You're still seeing some 80s, so it looks like it could be hopefully a warm rest of May, at least through May the 20th. So with all that out the way, let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Maya Lewis, she says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hopefully today in Georgetown we had a beautiful day. Today's high was around 76. Currently it's 65. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful day. It was all sunshine in Georgetown. I will definitely try to work in my garden tomorrow. It appears like it's going to be a beautiful day if it's God's will. Yes, tomorrow will be a nice day. Obviously, with your high temperatures being more inside of the high 70s, lower 80s. Yeah, that's nice, at least to me. To me, it is. Now, if we go on and go back, first off, thank you so much for the weather info that you just gave us. Also, what's currently going on at my house? Well, currently it's 62. High temperature today at my house was 78. My Aunt Shirley comes in and says, blessings to all. A beautiful, beautiful day inside of Raleigh. Well, thank you so much for that weather report, and same to you. Then Maya Lou says, my sister who lives in Virginia said that they did have some showers in Virginia. Is there any going on right now? Yeah, there is some showers in Virginia going on right now as we speak, especially near the Richmond area. So I don't know if that's where they are or not, but there are showers going on there currently. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Then my cousin Cheryl says, good evening, weatherman. How are you? Doing great. Hope you had a great weekend. Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful start to the week. So, weatherman, do your thing. Love you all. I'm listening. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that message that you just sent for all of us. Then Maya Lou says, by Georgetown being that warm tomorrow, I've got to start garden work early. It looks like pretty good weather, even with the cold front and rain. Not too bad. Thad then says, good evening, just from the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. It was another beautiful day here in Central Texas. High was around 83. Very, very nice. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. The garden is showing more growth. I credit it to the recent increased rainfall. May the 4th be with you all. Well, thank you so much for that report for where you are. And thank you so much for the weather report, garden report, just everything that you have going on. Then my Aunt Lou says, well, I certainly would like to see warm weather and not chilly conditions or chilly weather. My sister lives in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did have her on one time. I do remember that. But yeah, I mean, the only one that I do really see is just over here inside of Richmond right now. But for the most part, everybody else seems to be pretty dry. And so that's all that I can see for the chat for tonight. I don't see anything else for me. So we'll come back. You know, if you want to go on and leave something inside the chat, you still can. We will be coming back shortly. But before we get to that, we have 4 areas to talk about. So business is still not done. 4 areas outside of the state of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas? What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 3 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. So we start off with San Antonio first, as always. Low temperatures tonight at 71. High temperature for tomorrow at 92. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 74. No precipitation is expected for you at this time. So it looks like that you are inside of the clear right now. Now, if we talk about severe weather, talking about excessive rainfall, again, that's not looking like the biggest concern right now. Excessive rainfall first, nothing for days 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. In fact, nobody has a risk of any sort of excessive rainfall throughout these 4 areas. Now, in terms of your severe weather, because obviously yours wants to load up last, for days 1, I mean, honestly, it looks like that you're pretty much good. I do not see a single risk of severe weather for you here. And then just for your future in general, temperatures are going to continue to drop. We're talking about down into like the 80s, the 70s, then maybe a bit back up in the 80s on Friday. And then maybe even back to the 90s as you go into next week. Like when I say next week, like Sunday or so next weekend or this weekend. So temperatures will kind of be fluctuating, but you will be having a little bit of a cool down as you go more into like Wednesday and Thursday. Now that I look through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I did just see this just now. Wednesday, you do have a marginal risk of severe weather, so I do take that back. You don't have one for tonight or tomorrow, but Wednesday, you do have a risk of severe weather. Isolated severe storms are possible, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at around 55, high temperature for tomorrow at 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 61. In terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, precipitation, none of that is expected at this time. And then for your future, it looks like that you're going to continue to kind of just be going down in terms of temperatures. Like this week, on Thursday and Friday, you're going to be down to the 70s again. And then you'll be warming right back up into the 80s as you go into Sunday and Monday of next week. Precipitation will also be pretty hefty as well. We're talking about Thursday. You have an 100% chance of showers already, maybe even a thunderstorm. So expect rainfall on Thursday, Wednesday night, maybe even Thursday night as well, as thunderstorms are possible. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 58, high temperature for tomorrow at 85, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 63. Tonight is going to be no precipitation is expected tonight, but tomorrow, breezy conditions as we go into tomorrow and tomorrow night. Wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. Precipitation-wise, you're going to kind of just stay dry until you get to around Wednesday. Thursday, you have an 80% chance of rainfall Wednesday, 60% on Thursday. And then you're going to kind of dry out until you get to around Saturday and Monday. Temperature-wise, you're also going to kind of just stay cooling down. 72 on Wednesday, 62 on Thursday. But then watch as you get into Friday and Sunday, getting back up to the 70s again. And then for Duncan, Oklahoma, being one of the last areas that we talk about, usually is the most active. But tonight, it is definitely not. In fact, it's probably the quietest. And that's because, let me go in and pull it up right here. You have low temperatures tonight at 65, high temperature for tomorrow at 79, then low temperatures tomorrow night at 50. Precipitation is possible tonight. Yes, that is true. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, but tomorrow, no precipitation is expected. For your future, because obviously you have, it says that you have a little chance of severe weather today, but honestly, right now, I just see a couple of showers near you. I don't see anything that's really going to be like, oh, you have to really watch for this. They have the risk there, and it's there for a reason. But right now, I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not seeing it right now, at least. You do have a 5% chance of damaging winds and a 5% chance of damaging hail, and some of that hail could potentially be up to 2 inches in diameter tonight. So just watch for it, see if anything does develop. But for right now, like I said, only just a couple of showers near you. Tomorrow, nothing, and just for the future in general, nothing. Now for your future, in terms of temperatures are going to kind of be down to the 70s still, but watch as you get into this weekend, getting back into the 80s and 90s again. And then by the time you get to around Monday, back down to around 81. And then that's all that I can see here. Let me check out the chat one more time. I don't see anything here. Let me check out my Gmail, see if I got any pictures. Thad did send in some pictures. He sent 2 pictures saying kale and passion fruit. Kale and passion fruit. From his garden. So thank you so much for sending this in. If you want to send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Or you can @me on Twitter at 360_weather. Again, that is 360_weather. Now, what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise? Well, for right now, let me get that. Oops. Get this over here. In terms of what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise, scattered severe storms are expected in the Midwest this afternoon and tonight, with another threat possible in the central and the southern plains. Late season snow is expected over parts of the central Rockies, including the Denver metro area, into Wednesday. Severe thunderstorms are expected Tuesday and Wednesday across Texas and the Mid-South, with threats of damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes, and flash flooding. We also still have some fire alerts. In fact, we have a red flag warning up there in New York. Albany's included in there. So if you know anybody up there, make sure they're not burning anything. Let's see, when does it expire? It expires all the way from noon to 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So make sure they're not burning anything tomorrow. And that's all that I can really see throughout the entire U.S. So top fans of the night for tonight. Obviously, I said we would be having a bit of a change in terms of the top fans. And that change is coming I think tomorrow or so. But for right now, since I can eyeball it right now, my Aunt Lou is at number 1. Thad's at number 2. And then obviously, my Aunt Shirley's at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. It will be changing up tomorrow. How the top fan works, because obviously me counting 20, 25, chats at a time, it can get a bit obnoxious at a point in time. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, going to make it a bit different, revamping it so that it's maybe not completely off of how many times you type. Maybe. I mean, I'll have that all settled by the time we get to tomorrow or as we get into Wednesday. But I'll let you know when that does happen. But for now, let's give those three the round of applause. And that's all that I can see here throughout the entire chat. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Tuesday morning forecast update. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the share button. And I'll also be here tomorrow evening for your Tuesday evening forecast update. Make sure you hit those two buttons before you leave if you're new.
Boom, boom, off of your feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk, you knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and you talk that talk, you knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, 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 how. Hey, hey.